In this video, we're going to talk about adding value to any project, specifically open source projects, but this could count for your work and for any other projects you're involved in. Some people focus too much on, I must add a big chunk of code or a big chunk of documentation. In fact, the smaller the better, but it still needs to add value. And I want to show you how you can do that with a real world example. Take, for example, the EdiHub LinkFree project. This is a project that connects all your audience with a single link. And we've got the events page. And this is the live project, but we're going to switch to local in a minute. And you can see these are the community events coming up that I'm planning to go to in the near future. And someone said to me, what are these icons on the left? And I'm like, well, one's in person and one's virtual. And I said, but I didn't realize that. So I thought, great, let's put a key, let's put some information on the page to help people understand what that means. So we're going to do that today. And then I'm going to leave you some homework, yes, some homework on how you can improve it even further. Because if I add a key to this, that's great, but it would be even better if people would click on the key and it would filter the data. Some of you may think, well, I could add the key and I could also do the search and the filter and I could do so many things. But that's just too much in one go, too much for you, there's too much for the reviewer to review it, and it all takes longer. We want to add value to the community as quick as possible. So we're going to get this project running locally, and what I recommend is go to the GitHub repo link in the description below, and you can clone the project. And there's some great instructions. In fact, we've even got a whole docs section which we've revamped recently, but any improvements, let us know, and you've got a whole quick start guide with screenshots on how to get started. So I want to jump straight to running the project locally and adding value and showing you how think simple, think small. The smaller, the simpler, the better for you and for the project. So let's get the project started. So npm run dev. So now the project is running. If I go to my first tab, which is localhost 3000, you can see this looks very similar to the production one that I showed you. If I go back to the home page, but you can see on the production one, the numbers are a lot bigger than what I have locally. So let's go to the events page, and we can see the same two events that we saw on the production deployed one, but I want to add a key. And what I was thinking, I had a little look through Tailwind's components. I thought this key looked really good. The one on the left, instead of the person's picture, it could be the icon for in person, and then the one on the right could be for the icon for virtual. And then later on we can make these clickable, but for now we don't need to. So I'm going to minimize the terminal and let's have a look. So here, if I just put something under the H1, I'll show you that hello world, the usual. If I go back to here, you're going to see it adds it hello world. So we're going to put the Tailwind component in here, which I've already copied. So let's paste it in. And as you can see, this is a Tailwind component, but it's doing it as a map, so a loop over the kind of HTML. But for now, we've only got two. So I'm thinking we'll just copy and paste it and duplicate it, and we can move it to a component later. There's so many things that we can do. So I'm going to delete this map that they've got here, and then I'm going to duplicate this twice. There we go. And I want to remove the key that's no longer needed. And we've also, in this HTML, we can have a look at it. They have got the image, which we're going to change for the icon. And they've also got the actual kind of, object and then the properties that they're pulling out. So we can change this. So for example, let's start off simple. For here, we can say this is going to be what we saw. So for now, we will put the name, so in terms of what type of event it is in the top, underneath a bit more of a description. And we can work on that and improve that later. Once we get this out there to people, other people can make further improvements on it. So here's going to be the name. So we'll say in person. And then underneath, we could say these are in-person events. And then for the one underneath, we could then say virtual. And then here we could say these are virtual events. There we go. So I've saved that. It's kind of, reorganized it, reformatted it, but we still need to change the icon. So if I go to the web page, I'm guessing it's going to be broken. Let's have a look. It's broken. So let's finish fixing it because you've got person here. So what we need to do is actually remove the image. And I want to use the exact same icon that we have on the page. So where we can do that is we can go to the event component and see what icon we use. So here we can see we used online and we used outline. So let me just copy those as well. Let's move it back to the events page. Like I said, we can tidy this up later on. Let's get it working. So here are the two icons. So now let's grab one of the icons. This is the online one. So for virtual, so that's in person, and then virtual's underneath. Let's just change the image and we'll change it to be the icon. And then we'll go grab the other one, which isn't being used yet, but we will use it now. And then we can put the other icon in. And if we hit save, we can have a look. It's starting to look better already. Still not great, and they're clickable, which we haven't got yet, right? Don't try and do too much in one go. We can do this later. So I don't want these to be clickable. So actually, before we duplicated it, we should have fixed it. But what we can do here is we can remove the anchor tags, remove the links, so it's not clickable. Let's remove that on the second one as well. Hit save, and so now they're not clickable. So here we can see we've got a hover effect from Tailwind. Let's remove that. We don't want that, and there'll be a second one for the other one. This is the great thing about using components, is that you kind of, you fix it for one, you fix it for both, but we'll move it to a component later. So now if we hover, there is no hover, as you can see that. So that's looking a bit better, it's a bit more descriptive. The icons could probably be a lot bigger. There are definitely some improvements to be made, and there could be a margin underneath. But the point is, this is committable, I think. I think we could submit a pull request to this and get this merged in. Straight away, it's already adding value. It's clear what these icons are. Yes, like I said, there are improvements to be made. Make the icon bigger, make a margin below, even adding it so you can click and filter by the events would be super, super awesome and not hard to do because we have similar filters in the application, so we could actually reuse a lot of that code. But my point is, it's about adding value, not about adding lots of code. So hopefully this inspires you to get into open source. I've got many videos on why you should get involved in open source and how it can accelerate your career, your learning. I get all my clients for over 10 years and all my job offers because of my open source contributions. And to be honest, it's so much fun and it's great to geek out with you all. Go check out the GitHub LinkFree project. Create yourself a profile. So if I go to my profile, you can create yourself a profile. And this is what it can look like. Obviously, it would have your information. And then these are the events that I've been to in the past. And then there's some up and coming events. We still have some more improvements on this. But then these are aggregated from everybody and put on the community events. So we don't have so many events at the moment. So please add your events and get some green squares while you're adding your event to your profile as well. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And while you're down there, subscribe. And if you want, leave a comment. Let me know what videos you would like me to create or any feedback on this video, any questions you have. I look forward to geeking out with you between videos and live streams in the GitHub Discord. Link in description below.